the chances that Lori could spin the block and get back with one of her exes? And she's been out here dating some people.
She has some peeps on the roster, on the road.
Yeah, they call her the Thanos of the dating game. She's out here collecting all her Infinity Stones. You feel me?
Lori Harvey's game needs to be studied. Because one thing about her exes is that they always coming back for a little more of Big Mama.
In June 2022, the internet went into a full meltdown when Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan finally imploded, leaving everyone absolutely staggered. But if you truly understand Lori Harvey, you know she treats being single like a brief technical difficulty. She rebounds instantly and keeps her brand evolving. By December 2022, she was already linked to a brand new target. And this time the prize was British actor Damson Idris. Then boom, by January 13th, 2023, which conveniently landed on her 26th birthday, they went public and debuted as the ultimate power couple. But just like that, by November 7th, 2023, the flame had already burned out. They issued a robotic joint statement claiming they parted ways because their individual careers required total focus and unwavering dedication. It sounds professional on the surface, but you already know the critics were dissecting that corporate talk for the real tea. Now, look closer for a second. Lori Harvey moves with a cold precision in today's dating market. It is almost as if she follows her own ruthless manifesto. No second chances, and absolutely no looking back. If the energy shifts, she cuts the cord permanently and never blinks. That is just her signature savage protocol, and the world is obsessed with it. She wields incredible leverage in the celebrity dating game. And the second things shattered with Damson Idris, the entire internet immediately started spiraling to uncover the messy truth hidden behind those closed doors.
Having leverage in your relationship or just while dating will get you a lot more than being a nice girl, okay? So your leverage depends on a lot of things. Yes, beauty is a leverage, but so is information. So are secrets. A lot of things become leverage. The most powerful form of leverage is definitely beauty, and the second is definitely what you know about this person.
Lori Harvey moves like she is out here hunting for infinity stones to complete her collection. The secret to her relentless momentum boils down to one brutal concept: leverage. Real leverage means weaponizing your status, your aesthetic, and your massive influence to hijack the best possible outcomes. For Lori Harvey, being flawless, famous, and perpetually under the lens keeps her deck stacked with endless options. Because of that, she can swap partners at lightning speed and keep the engine running without ever losing her composure. Now, this is where the plot thickens. Back in 2023, the breakup narrative was all about both stars needing to prioritize their own soaring careers, right? That was the sanitized PR version. But as we cruise through 2024 and 2025, the spectators started getting restless. Did Lori Harvey ever actually debut anyone more high-profile or more legendary than Damson Idris? Not exactly. And that silence had the streets whispering. So, fast forward to March 2026 at Paris Fashion Week. One of the most chaotic stages on Earth. Cameras everywhere, A-listers in every corner. And guess who suddenly materializes in the eye of the storm? Yes, Lori Harvey and Damson Idris were caught casually lingering together like their messy history was just a fever dream. That single sighting had everyone arched-eyebrowed and desperate to decode what kind of toxic or tactical games were actually being played in the dark.
As a man who has a lot of options, there is no need to settle down, because when you are comfortable in life and you look good and you're doing well for yourself, you're going to keep having an abundance of options no matter where you are in life. No matter what area you're in, what country you're in, they're going to naturally come. Because in this day and age, it's so easy to be at the top of the top, because all you have to do is take care of yourself and get some money in. I know that's easier said than done, but if you do those two things, you are naturally going to be in the top 5%.
The streets are whispering that Lori Harvey must be casting some kind of spell because these men simply cannot find the exit. They keep drifting back or staying tethered to her orbit, and the internet is absolutely losing its mind over it. Now, get ready for the plot twist that has everyone doing a double take. Lori Harvey has built her entire brand on the cold fact that she does not entertain anyone who fails to serve her agenda or elevate her lifestyle. That has been her ruthless reputation since the jump. But now the fans are giving her the side eye because it appears she has actually circled back to Damson Idris. This is a move most fans assumed she would never make while at the top of her game. Remember, this is the same woman celebrated for always moving forward and never recycling her past. She usually swaps out partners like last season's handbags without ever looking in the rear view. Yet, out of nowhere, they are spotted in Paris looking cozy and even affectionate, acting as if that messy breakup never even occurred. And just when you thought the drama had reached its limit, the suspicious timing made the rumors grow even louder.
It's not a flex if a man spins the block. That's not a flex. He's coming back to see if you're still stupid. Ding, 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 ding.
Just 9 days later, on March 15th, Michael B. Jordan, the man she ditched before Damson Idris, steals the entire spotlight with a massive win at the Oscars. That viral moment had the conspiracy theorists working overtime. Lori Harvey was just caught recycling an ex-boyfriend, a move that completely defies her usual cold-blooded playbook. Then, immediately after, another heavyweight from her romantic resume hits a monumental career peak. This suspicious overlap had social media spiraling, trying to decode the hidden agenda behind it all. But hold on, because the plot gets even more chaotic. I am minding my own business scrolling through the feed when a new Instagram post erupts. It is Damson Idris, and he is roaming Los Angeles with model Avery Len. Now, I am analyzing these frames frame by frame, and let us be for real. That is definitely not Lori Harvey. To be fair, Avery is serving looks. She is dressed to kill and clearly came to snatch edges. It is giving main character energy. It is giving effort. And trust me, the fans noticed. In the shots, they are not exactly doing too much, but the energy is undeniable. It looks like a duo that is very comfortable, maybe even a little too cozy to be just friends. That is what has everyone questioning everything, because not even 45 days prior, Damson Idris was seen lingering around Lori Harvey again. The messy timing alone has the public confused, trying to figure out what is a genuine connection and what is just a PR stunt. Now, this spiraled into a massive debate that is currently taking over the internet. There is a creator named Shayra7 whose name is constantly linked to these types of scandals. The core concept being dragged into the light is leverage, a tool everyone manipulates in different ways. Simply put, leverage is about weaponizing what you possess to extort better results. For some elites, that might be raw status or elite connections. For others, it is purely about their aesthetic or their curated public persona.
So I want you to guess the reason that Lori Harvey ended the relationship with Damson Idris. I broke up with him because he is too nice. Yeah, guys, it's actually over in dating in 2026. I mean, best dating advice for men: be the absolute worst version of yourself that you can possibly be. The more self-destructive, toxic, aloof, whatever the hell that means, distant and detached you are, the more desirable.
When a person is marketed as gorgeous and elite, it basically unlocks doors and generates endless choices without lifting a finger. Throw in high fashion, exclusive social circles, and heavy-hitting connections, and that strategic advantage just skyrockets even higher. But there is a hidden layer to this game that the public rarely discusses, and that is raw information. What you know about a person, or even what you think you know, can completely hijack how someone maneuvers in a crisis. That mental edge can dictate every decision, every second of timing, and exactly how a person chooses to strike back. It is not just about a pretty face or celebrity status. It is also about hunting for weaknesses and decoding psychological patterns. Now, in these heated debates, some critics argue that being a cold observer and tracking minor details is the real secret to dominating relationships. Not everyone views the game through the same lens, but the theory is that weaponizing behavior, reactions, and subconscious habits can dictate how a player approaches any scenario. And that brings the spotlight right back to Lori Harvey and how the internet overanalyzes her every move. When she and Damson Idris imploded in 2023, the prevailing theory was that she had both her aesthetic and her psychological read on the breakup working in her favor. The logic goes like this: if she walks away, he might struggle to find a replacement with that same level of global visibility or star power, practically guaranteeing he would eventually crawl back. Meanwhile, she expected a flood of new elite opportunities to hit her inbox, keeping her romantic options perpetually open. Naturally, these are just theories being spun from the outside, but that is exactly why this messy situation has the entire world talking non-stop.
Yeah, so guys, that's really what it has come to. I mean, people are constantly questioning what do women really want? Well, they want drama. So you need to keep spiking drama into the relationship or this will happen. As you can see, he was too nice. Literally, he was too nice. Like, he has millions of dollars, handsome, tall, everything rich. He was too nice. Like, it's insane. No one suffers more than a man who has a pure intentions with a woman. Well, obviously, I think this is just the type of woman he was with. So, I mean, there's nice women out there.
Look at the predictable pattern the internet is obsessed with. Right before the split with Michael B. Jordan, the rumors insisted she still held the keys to his heart whenever she wanted them. That was the tea back then. But did that fantasy actually survive the long game? Absolutely not. And that is exactly where the plot thickens for everyone watching. Critics argue that while a player like Lori Harvey clearly calculates her own worth and demands high standards from a partner, there is another toxic side that gets ignored: the man's own leverage. That is where the entire game changes. It is not just about one person holding all the cards. Both players can have their own level of power and freedom. This links to that massive concept everyone is screaming about: optionality. The idea that if someone is successful and elite, they also have endless paths and fresh opportunities waiting for them. So, while Lori Harvey still has the clout and the cameras, the power dynamic is not what it used to be. Michael B. Jordan has literally ascended to a new stratosphere in his career, and Damson Idris is carving out his own legendary lane. At this stage, it completely flips how we see the drama. Because when both sides have endless options, the balance of power is no longer a one-way street. And when someone decides to spin the block after moving on, it forces the public to ask a massive question. What does that reveal about their next calculated move? Exactly. People are calling it a desperate spin, but in this scenario, both stars would be perfectly fine alone. If Lori Harvey never utters his name again, she keeps winning. And if he never crawls back, he is still elite. That is what makes this mess feel so balanced yet totally chaotic. Now, this is where the internet fight really gets spicy. Some fans argue there are not many actors in a position like Damson Idris who would tolerate these games, especially compared to his earlier days. The logic is that as time passes, successful men keep stacking more choices, more connections, and more freedom to choose who they keep in their orbit. Meanwhile, others shout that the celebrity landscape is constantly shifting. New stars enter the frame. Opportunities vanish, and what felt like a flex today might be a total flop years later. That is why the streets keep talking about long-term leverage and how it decays over time. There is also a massive debate about how we judge raw potential. Sometimes people get completely ignored early on, only to level up in ways that nobody saw coming. And when that glow-up hits, it destroys the original dynamic. That is why some experts say it is dangerous to assume someone will stay beneath you because the tables turn fast. And when they do, the power balance looks unrecognizable by morning. Then years later, the ultimate flip happens. Someone who was overlooked returns 5 or 6 years later, and suddenly their stock has hit the moon. They have evolved, leveled up, and entered a totally different league. That kind of comeback catches the world off guard every single time.
Lori Harvey posted this picture on her Instagram. She said, I hope y'all have had so much fun creating false narratives about me for clickbait because I'm about to have so much fun suing y'all. What she's referring to is headlines like this. It says, Lori Harvey has ended her relationship with Damson Idris because he was too nice. And people keep commenting stuff like, no one suffers more than a man who has pure intentions for a woman. I see a lot of articles running with the story that she broke up with Damson Idris because he was too nice.
We hear these fairy tale stories of exes reconnecting after years apart, but the energy is completely unrecognizable. The person who used to be a background character is now walking with massive confidence and endless options. It is a brutal reminder of how fast the tables turn when someone actually focuses on leveling up their own life. Now, bringing it back to the main event, Lori Harvey, the internet is in a heated debate about what it actually takes to maintain her elite status in the dating game. The stakes are astronomical, the competition is cutthroat, and that blinding spotlight makes every single move feel 10 times more intense. That is exactly why some insiders believe high society relationships do not follow your typical, boring rules, and exclusivity is basically whatever these people decide it is. In a world this chaotic, things often look flexible or totally undefined, where both stars do exactly what they want and only reconnect when the terms are perfect. That kind of loose setup would break a normal person, but for these elites, it is just another Tuesday in their high-stakes lifestyle. And that is why we are all collectively obsessed, because their choices never align with what the average person expects. This is where the plot actually thickens and everything starts to look like a masterclass in PR. Because when you analyze these moves as a whole, they stop looking like accidents and start looking like a cold, hard strategy. The world is not just watching who Lori Harvey is dating. They are studying her footwork, her timing, and exactly who she allows to be seen in her orbit. Every single paparazzi shot and every accidental link-up carries massive weight. One minute she is in Paris looking cozy with Damson Idris, and the next, he is being spotted with a total stranger in Los Angeles. That toxic back-and-forth energy keeps the public spiraling in circles. It creates this calculated illusion that nothing is ever permanent and everything is subject to a sudden change. In that kind of environment, Perception is the only currency that matters. It is not about the reality behind closed doors. It is about the narrative being fed to the masses. The mystery, the suspicious timing, and the sudden resurrections all serve to keep the spotlight locked right where she wants it. So now, the fans asking a much deeper question. It is no longer about who is holding hands. It is about who actually holds the power in these situations, because from our perspective, the upper hand is constantly switching sides. One moment one person looks like the winner, and the next, the entire dynamic flips on its head. That constant power struggle is exactly what keeps the audience glued to the screen, desperate to see who makes the next move. And now, the focus shifts to the ultimate weapon, timing. Timing is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in how this drama is being consumed. Think about it. The Paris sighting, the Los Angeles drama, and the award season peak do not exist in a vacuum. When these events collide so perfectly, the internet starts connecting the dots whether the celebrities intended it or not. And once those dots are connected, a viral narrative starts writing itself at lightning speed.
But the thing is, like, people are going to continue to believe it unless you or Damson comes out and says otherwise, which is, I mean, you guys haven't really done that so far. And it would be an easy thing to believe because Damson Idris is notoriously like a really nice guy, and girls famously don't like to date nice guys. Girls like to say that they want a nice guy, but like they don't actually date nice guys. So Lori Harvey, the ball's in your court. I mean, you could easily, instead of posting this picture, you could have just said, my relationship is fine.
That is exactly why every single move starts looking like a masterclass in calculation, even if it is just a fluke. From the outside, it looks like a perfect sequence, where one headline bleeds into the next, creating a viral soap opera that evolves in real time. And in an industry where clout is the only currency, that kind of momentum is pure gold. At the same time, it forces everyone to ask the million-dollar question. Are these moments actually happening naturally? Or is there a cold awareness of how the optics will land once they hit the internet? Because when you are living under a permanent microscope, even a basic decision takes on a sinister new meaning. And that is where the drama stays addictive. No matter how you spin it, the pattern is not losing steam. It is only getting more toxic. Every fresh sighting and every unexpected moment just drops another piece into the puzzle, keeping the fans locked in and desperate to see what the finale looks like. Now, you start seeing a hidden layer that the average person misses, the sheer power of attention itself. Because attention does not just follow the drama, it actually fuels it. The more eyes on the mess, the more pressure, the more unhinged speculation, and the more reactions that flood the feed. At this elite level, a minor outing or a casual glance can transform into a global headline overnight. A simple lunch date or just standing next to the right person can ignite a wildfire of gossip that refuses to die out. It builds and builds until the narrative takes on a life of its own. That is why people believe the spotlight has completely erased the line between a private life and public entertainment. When millions of strangers are dissecting your every move, your secrets are no longer private, they are a public broadcast. And in the case of Lori Harvey, that blinding spotlight has never flickered. Every relationship, every messy breakup, and every suspicious spin-the-block moment gets analyzed from every possible angle. Meanwhile, the men in her orbit are also evolving and making their own power moves. So now, the situation feels way bigger than just a few people. It feels like a shifting chessboard where everyone is trying to navigate their own path while being judged by the world. That is what makes it so chaotic, because no matter how things look today, tomorrow can flip the entire script. And trust me, nobody sees the plot twist coming. It all circles back to one massive concept: control. With all this noise, all these sightings, and all these shifting alliances, people want to know who is actually steering the ship. Is it one person making cold, calculated moves? Or is it just a bunch of elites moving freely while it only looks strategic from our perspective? That question hits differently when you realize how fast the narrative can pivot. One sighting can give the illusion of a clear direction, and then the very next paparazzi shot destroys that entire theory. That back and forth energy makes it impossible to ever pin down the real story.
Someone said, what in the black Taylor Swift? At this point, the way she be jumping from man to man, I don't even know if she actually wants to get married. Like, the first time I ever heard of her, she was engaged to some, like, I think he was a soccer player. He was some sort of athlete. And this was back when she was very, very young. And then they broke up. And then after that, I've been hearing her be with like Michael B. Jordan. There was like, I think Diddy or his son.
At the same time, there is another toxic angle the internet is starting to clock. When both players have massive visibility, endless options, and total independence, control stops sitting in one place. It shifts constantly depending on the timing, the opportunity, and who decides to lean in or ghost at any given moment. That is exactly why this mess keeps pulling the world in. It is not predictable. It is not one-sided. And it definitely does not follow the basic patterns people expect from a standard breakup. Every fresh appearance and every unexpected link-up adds a twisted new chapter that keeps the narrative breathing. So now, the focus is not just on the messy past. It is on what kind of chaos could happen next. Because with this much momentum, nobody is ever truly closing a door. That leaves a massive gap for any scenario to play out. And that sickening uncertainty is exactly why everyone is watching with their magnifying glasses out. Now the conversation pivots once more, this time to the patterns. Because when you analyze every single detail, you start spotting the trends in the behavior. Who is the first to pull away? Who eventually crawls back? And how often do these reconnects actually serve a purpose? That is when the skeptics begin to question if these situations are genuinely unpredictable or if there is a calculated cycle playing out in the shadows. One moment there is total distance, then suddenly a strategic sighting, then silence again. And just when it looks like the fire is out, something pulls the drama right back into the red-hot spotlight. That kind of pattern keeps the fans addicted because it feels like there is always another scandalous chapter waiting to drop. Nothing ever looks fully closed, and that creates this permanent tension where any romance could restart in a heartbeat. At the same time, it highlights just how unhinged modern relationships can look, especially in these high-profile circles. Things do not move in a straight line anymore. There is messy overlap, long pauses, sudden reconnects, and power shifts happening in real time. So now, the audience is not just reacting to snapshots. They are hunting for the next turn in the pattern. Because if history has proven anything, it is that just when it looks like the dust has settled, a new plot twist erupts and changes the game all over again. That unpredictability is the fuel that keeps the entire situation alive and evolving. And it all leads to the final question the internet cannot stop debating. What is the actual endgame here? Because when you look at the patterns, the suspicious timing, and the constant spotlight, it feels like these are not just random moments anymore. Some critics think it is just the lifestyle. Nothing deep, just rich people doing whatever they want. Others are convinced there is a much bigger picture behind the curtain, even if it is not obvious today. That massive split in opinion is what keeps the comments section on fire. At the same time, there is a cold reality many are starting to accept. Not every situationship is meant to end in something permanent. Sometimes it is just about the timing. Sometimes it is about personal growth. And sometimes, it is purely about winning the moment.
Like, I didn't even know she was dating this man. Like, there was rumors that she was dating him. There was like pictures circling of her and him at the beach, her and him making out at a hotel. Like, this is all speculation. I don't know anything for sure because I don't want to get sued people for spreading lies. I didn't know nothing about your life, Lori. Okay, I only know what is put out there and what other people have said, even what you have put out there. Okay, that's all I know. I feel like she's the female version of Leonardo DiCaprio. She only dated him for a year and then drop him. I personally feel, listen, if you don't think that he is the one, don't tell us about it.
When you are dealing with elites who possess endless options, global visibility, and total independence, the concept of a fixed ending completely evaporates. It stops being about happily ever after and becomes a game of what is happening in this exact second. That is why nothing ever feels truly settled in the world of Lori Harvey. The door to her past never looks fully slammed shut, but it is never wide open either. It hangs in that toxic middle ground where scandal can erupt at any moment. And that exact uncertainty is what keeps the world glued to the screen, because just when it seems the drama is dying down, a new power move pulls her right back into the blinding spotlight. Now, everything lands on the ultimate question the internet is screaming: who actually wins in this scenario? Because when you zoom out, this is not just about feelings or messy breakups anymore. It is about raw visibility, keeping your name relevant, and staying at the center of the conversation. Every accidental sighting and every viral headline keeps these names circulating in a cycle that never stops. In a world where attention is the only real currency, being the main topic of discussion is a massive power play. That is why some critics are convinced these situations do not just happen, they are curated to keep everyone involved relevant. But there is a darker side to the fame. Constant scrutiny brings crushing pressure, wild assumptions, and non-stop hate from people who do not have a clue what happens behind closed doors. So, while the lifestyle looks flawless on Instagram, it comes with a deafening level of noise. That chaotic balance is exactly what makes this whole saga so addictive. On one side, you have influence, elite access, and freedom. On the other, you are drowning in speculation and the heavy expectations of the public. In the end, it is not as simple as crowning a winner or a loser. It is a messy mix of both depending on whose perspective you take. That is why this story refuses to have a clean ending. It is a living, breathing narrative that evolves every time someone picks up a camera. As long as the moves keep happening and the spotlight stays on, the world will keep watching, analyzing, and begging for the next twist. At the end of the day, not everyone is going to respect how Lori Harvey plays the game. And she clearly does not care. If she decides she wants someone, she is going to move with them and stand 10 toes down regardless of the internet's opinion. That is her choice and she owns it completely. At the same time, the critics are right. Over time, dynamics decay, and what felt like a flex yesterday might not carry the same weight tomorrow. That is just the brutal evolution of priorities and status. The truth is, everyone sees this drama through their own bias lens based on their own life and expectations. That is just human nature. But now, I am passing the mic to you. What is the real motive behind these moves? Drop your theories in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe for more savage breakdowns, and share this with someone who is not ready for the truth. Let's get the conversation started.